Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're back over on the free-to-play account, and we're going to be breaking down the new version of the Treasure Scramble. So this one is going to be very interesting because the buff that we have within here, and you can see it starts in 11 hours, is a massive boost to max health as well as vitality. So a lot of heroes are going to be very effective in here, thinking of like Chimera, thinking of Thorin, the awakened version of Astrilda, even thinking of Leviathan. There are a lot of heroes that are really boosted and really do provide a crazy amount of benefit. Taylene with the max health. So this is going to make a big difference. And I want to make sure that you have the teams in here so we can actually set these and know exactly what teams we're looking at and what we're going to build. So let's hop over and take a look at the guide. So here is the Treasure Scramble, the Pure Realm guide from the AFK guys. I will put a link down below so you guys can check this out. And 100% you absolutely want to set these teams because this is the first iteration of the Pure Realm that we're running. We haven't seen it. We'll make some adjustments, of course, throughout the entire event and seeing exactly what it is and how this works. So let's break down our teams, guys. So looking at our first one, this is Team Leviathan. Now, if you remember traditionally right here, the awakened version of Lucius and Leviathan, they have been run through a lot of iterations of the Treasure Scramble. They work incredibly well together. Then we also do have the new Mauler. You can see right here, the new Mauler already in formations, already seeing her in the Cursed Realm. So we are seeing a lot of utility out of this hero right off the bat. We have Aurelia in here, and we do have Gavis in here. Of course, the awakened version of Lucius has a little bit of survivability issues, but really offset by having Leviathan and Gavis in there. So this is going to make a really big difference. Now, if you don't have Leviathan, a lot of players do put right here, you can see the awakened version of Astrilda could go in this team. Also, we have Shahan is in there. Also looking at Kregor in here as another very solid tank. Works incredibly well. Now, if you have not built the new Mauler, you can see we have Valfrier in here, we have Gorin in here, we have Lavatoon, there is Ceramina. There are a lot of substitutes in here, even Shuna in here. So depending on who you have and who you're building, now you also have to remember, for a lot of players, there is a pretty decent overlap when it comes to the heroes themselves. So you might have to use some heroes in this team. And you'll notice down here, there's the 2-team variation. Since it is day one of the Treasure Scramble, we want to focus on this 2-team variation right here, making sure that we do have them set. And if you don't have them, again, putting in some of these substitutes. Here's an alt, even for the 2-team variation, if you don't have that awakened version of Lucius, or if you don't have Aurelia, you can drop Lan in there. Saramira is there as well. So definitely pay attention to the substitutions within these team comps because it's going to make a big difference on day one when this is released. Team 2, the Seal. Now, I feel like personally, this team is going to be super effective because we do have Taylene in here. Again, affected by the HP, and that is the original version of Taylene. Thorin, affected by the HP. Seal, this team is probably going to be one of the top performing. It's going to be incredibly difficult to kill this team. And you can also see that we have Shaltir in here because two things is one, the max HP, and also the revives that we have in here. So if you have some cheat deaths, that's going to make a really big difference in here. Alvida, of course, super hard to kill. We have Flora still in here. And a lot of people really underestimate, including myself, Mira right here. She has been doing and really pushing a lot of content and really pushing the envelope. We're seeing her in campaign chapters. We're seeing her in the Treasure Scramble. For being a regular Graveborn hero, Tower, of course, going to be used a lot. But it's interesting to see that we are having and seeing a lot more heroes in here. Now, the 2-team version does have Chimera and Thorin in here. You can see also the awakened version of Astrilda. They are running the SP effect in there. And Sungjin Wu is actually showing up as well as Nox. Nox is one in here, incredibly difficult when you have him built out to kill, giving the ability for that Slumbering Seal to absolutely decimate formations. Then we look at Ulna. This is a very tried and true formation. Ulna with Skyland makes it incredibly difficult to kill Skyland. Now, Skyland, of course, is one that you either have him built or you don't. You can see substitutes in here. We do have right here, we have Envy in here and we have Scion. I usually run Scion in here. And then you also notice we do have the newest Draconic hero, which is a ranger, but also a big buffer in there. You could substitute in here kind of equal with Land if you do not have him built. You can see Shuna in there and a couple other variations. And then, of course, with Skyland, I built the awakened version of Iran. So right down here, they made this perfectly, probably not just for me. But since I do not have Skyland in any manner, I am using this awakened version of Iran. And this is the team that I am running in here with the SP effect. Does work incredibly well. And this, again, is one that we have seen for a significant amount of time. Running Misha in there and then running Lan in there as well. And, of course, this is your 3-team variation. So once you go in there and you set your 2 teams, you set your 3 teams, we go into 4 teams. Once all of the teams are unlocked in their entirety, of course, you're just going to pick and choose which ones you do have. Looking at team number 4, this is the awakened version of Chimera. And then you can also see Albedo is in here. 1, 2, 3 dimensional heroes. That makes it incredibly, incredibly potent with the buffs that Albedo brings. That's really the only reason why players still use her, is you do have to have that signature item built up, but it can make a really big difference in here for all of these heroes and the damage they're doing. Again, the awakened version of Chimera, really going to be affected by the HP boost that we're seeing in here. And then Sun Jin Woo, again, another one that's in here, going to work incredibly well. A lot of players might not have him built out at this time. Same that we see with Shahin, we might not see them built out. There's a 4-team variation running down here with Kregar, but overall effective and very effective when it comes to those dimensional heroes within this formation. Then we get into the burst teams. Right here, we do have Matria. Again, Matria with the ability to come back alive with the HP boost with the Vitality can make a really big difference. Shaltier's another one in here. Then we have a little bit of mitigation, and it is burst. Now, if you're unfamiliar, right here with Saramira, this is a huge one when it comes to burst. That is the reason why players build her. We have seen her in the Nightmare Corridor. We've also seen her in the Treasure Scramble. Does work incredibly well. And you'll also notice the new Highborn Draconic hero is kind of used in a bunch of different places as a substitute. We still do have Lysander in there. Now, he was one that right off the bat, not many players used him. There wasn't a lot of utility for him, but now he seems to be used in a lot of different content. Just had to find kind of how and where he was going to be used. Also, the new Mauler hero is dropped in there as well. Lucilla, unfortunately, being worked out a little bit out of the formations, but still being run a little bit. Now, in team number 6, this is Envy. And now you'll notice Envy is not running the SP effect. It is the awakened version of Estrella that's in here. Again, when it comes to the amount of damage they can put out, plus the crowd control right here with the Ice Crown, it does work incredibly well. And a lot of these heroes, again, you have to kind of pay attention to, because a lot of these are going to be used in a multitude of formations, meaning you're going to have to kind of swap and pick and choose depending on who you have built. If you have them all built, super easy to go through and just build the teams. If you have to kind of pick and choose, pay special attention to the substitutes that we have right here in the bottom. And then in Pasan, so this one again, Lysander is showing up. The awakened version of Athalia still has a lot of utility. Same right here with Liberta and Lucilla, still being run together, still working incredibly well. And you can also see that Amelia is still in here, Aurelia is in here, Tamaris is in here. Even looking at Alvida does work incredibly well with the survivability aspect within here. And of course, Liberta is going to be your major damage dealer within this formation, working incredibly well. Then there is one bonus team, the awakened version of Sophia. Unfortunately, we're not really seeing her anywhere short of the towers anymore, but it also does have Naruko in here. And again, Kregar and Tardos is still in here, guys. That's kind of crazy. Damia is another one that, as we continue to get more support heroes, I feel like the utility of some of the current heroes will kind of reduce a little bit as we start getting more heroes, as we start getting more awakened heroes, replacing and really the power creep that this game really affects. You can see even any of the original heroes, even looking at the first, 1, 2, even 3 years, not being used anywhere in AFK Arena. But overall, guys, because this is the first iteration of the Pure Realm, make sure you're running through here and make sure you're doing this in its entirety. It's going to be super important to set your teams right now, because if not, the game is just going to choose them for you, and you do not want to do that. All right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and as always, thank you guys for watching.